What's up, y'all? I'm finally back out here at the range, as you can see back behind me, on another chilly morning. Supposed to get up into the 50s, I believe, today, so it ought to be some nice day for some testing. We're gonna kick things off with a little 380 ACP. So I got the jelly contraption ready to roll with the chronos and 2 fresh blocks of gel. No test done in these yet, so you get a really nice, good, clear picture. Also, sticking with that heavy clothing barrier, of course, it's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And again, we're looking at a little 380 auto for this one. We got the Winchester Elite Defender here. This is their 95 grain bonded jacketed hollow point. Now, I've tested these Defender bondeds in a few different calibers. Most of them, from what I can remember, did pretty well as long as they were moving fast enough. Now, the most recent one I can remember is the 45 Colt. That one didn't do well at all just because it wasn't moving fast. So hopefully these have got enough speed to make them act right. So here's your cartridge, a nice nickel plated case with that bonded projectile. Now, this projectile is really similar to like a T-Series. It's almost like a bonded T-Series, PDX-1 Ranger. It's all along in that same lineage there. As far as the ballistics on this, they're saying 1,000 feet per second at the muzzle. So I just don't know about that. 1,000 feet per second to get this bonded projectile to open up, that's going to be a little bit sketchy, at least in the short barrel we got here anyway. And speaking of barrels, I've got a couple of different lengths out here to test them out of. For a shorty, we got the Ruger LCP Max with the 2.8 inch barrel. And then for a little bit longer one, I've got my M&P Performance Center Shield EZ chambered in 380. Now, this is the Performance Center version with that little bit of porting on the end. So technically with that porting, you're looking at a 3.8 inch barrel. So right at an inch longer with the porting than this LCP Max. So hopefully this stuff will perform well and give us another good option for 380. I've got my doubts. Y'all know how I feel about 380. I call it one of the problem child calibers because it's really tricky sometimes to get an expanding round to act like it's supposed to. But hopefully these will be another exception to the rule. Let's get this stuff set up and find out. All right, let's see how fast this stuff's moving. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each barrel length, starting with this little LCP first. Now, like I always mention with this lab radar, you're gonna get multiple velocities. Your large number is gonna be at your muzzle, and then the 5 across the bottom. One of them is set for 3 yards, which is where the gel is here at 10 feet roughly. And then you've got 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. So let's see what we get. Now, remember the box on this is saying 1,000. Y'all know just as well as I do, we're not gonna see it from this little LCP Max. But let's see how close it actually comes. $867, $880, $928, $947, and $908. So definitely not the 1,000, not really quite as low as I thought it was going to be though. Let's check out the average. All right, so from a little shorty LCP, we had a 5-round average of 906 feet per second, an extreme spread of 80, and a standard deviation of 33. So 906, we right at 100 off of the advertised velocity. Now, notice we did have a high there of 947. So I guess from that little short LCP Max, that's about what you can expect. That does not bode well for the performance of those rounds though, I can tell you right now. Let me get it reset and let's see what the EZ does. All right, let's see if this extra inch from the EZ can wake them up a little bit. I still don't know if I think we're gonna hit that 1,000. We may hit it with this. We'll be in the high 900s, I would say, if we don't hit the 1,000. Let's see what happens. 1,054, 982, 1,032, 964, and 1,048. So we had a couple of them under and a few of them over. Let's check the average. All right, so definitely a pretty good improvement that time. Our 5-round average from the EZ was 1,016, so it exceeded the box. We had a couple that was under, but not a whole lot. So extreme spread of 90 and a standard deviation of 40.5. About the same spread from both of them. Not real tight, but not the worst thing I've seen. So 1,016 on this one, and if you remember on that Max, it was 906. So you talking about 110 feet per second faster with that extra inch of barrel. So that's a pretty significant difference in my book. I think the EZ might do what it's supposed to do in the gel, but if it does expand, it's gonna fall short on the penetration, no doubt in my mind. As far as this Max, I don't think we're gonna get any expansion from it at all, but maybe I'll be wrong. Let's get this stuff set up and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's baby bonded jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each into the gel, starting with this LCP Max. Again, I don't have any kind of good hopes for this stuff right here. I really do hope it surprises me, but I don't think we got the velocity to open this round up. Let's see what happens. All right, that was perfect placement right there. Let's go see what I got. All right, y'all, it's a good thing I ain't a betting man, because that stuff did way better than what I expected it to. I'm very, very pleasantly surprised by what I see down there from that. So after that, I don't think there's any doubt this right here is going to perform really well, unless it gives me one of them crazy ones like we see sometimes where we just got lucky on that one. But I think we got some good stuff coming off this one here. All right, whew, I just went right up under that other one, I think. Let me go see what I got. All right, let's check out what we got down here, y'all. Very, very surprised at the performance from both of these right here. It's kind of a weird situation where the one that did better did worse. I know that really doesn't make any sense, but that's kind of the best way to describe what happened here. So on the top, that's the one from the Ruger LCP Max. You can see it comes in here. Looks like we got immediate expansion here. It's hard to say, but I'm pretty sure we did. Nice little disruption here. Dumped some cloth out right around in here, and then looks like it went pretty good penetration here, well over halfway. I'll have to do some measuring and see, but looks like nice penetration. And as far as expansion, got good expansion, plenty for my taste, but it looks like a couple of the pedals didn't open. And I would say, just depending on which happened first, with the cloth, it didn't dump it out in time to open, or it dumped it out and then got kind of sideways and then wasn't able to open those other two. But either way, it's got some expansion, just not complete expansion. And then of course, right up underneath that was that extra inch from the EZ. As you can see, that extra inch and velocity made it perform very, very differently. This is what I expect to see from 380s that do expand. The great expansion, but the penetration is just lacking. That looks like about halfway of that block, maybe a little bit over halfway. Now, as far as expansion and disruption, really, really nice disruption there. You can tell it expanded immediately, no problem. So that, again, makes me think that that one expanded immediately too, and just kind of got sideways, causing the other two pedals to not open up. But this one here got massive expansion. I mean, it expanded all the way down to the base and maybe even a little bit further. But again, because of that massive expansion, you definitely gave up on the penetration. So for your penetration on these, the one from the LCP Max is at exactly 12.25 inches, and the one from the EZ is down here at 8.5. So definitely not the penetration I want out of that EZ. I'd even like to see a little more from that Max, but that's really surprising that it got that and some pretty good expansion. And then here's your closer look. Again, the top is the Max, the bottom is the EZ. Obviously more disruption from that EZ, but that really doesn't mean a whole lot in this case. But look at that expansion. I mean, total expansion. The Max, on the other hand, still decent disruption for a 380, and you can see it there. Really nice penetration to be what it is, and in my opinion, again, plenty of expansion. Here's another look from above. They're kind of right on top of each other, so it's a little tricky, but you can see that massive expansion there. And then when you get over here to the LCP Max, definitely you didn't get a couple of pedals to open up. All right, let's check out these projectiles. Big difference in these things. I don't think I even have to say. This one right here is from the EZ. This one's from the LCP Max. You can see, look at the side on that one from the EZ. I mean, it's peeled all the way down to the base and beyond. This right here is how this round is meant to perform. There's no doubt about it. Now, the LCP Max, you can see nice expansion from it, more than adequate in my opinion, but you just didn't get those other two pedals to open up. Now, the big question here would be, what would you get this every time? Well, you know, would maybe more not open? Would more open? If more opened, if they fully expanded, I feel like you're gonna get about the same penetration. I don't think those two expanding would cause a big loss in penetration as far as this LCP Max is concerned, because you're still not going to get that no matter what happens. You can see, even if you had full expansion, that's how far you would get. So I don't think it'd be a big deal to get more expansion. Now, if you got less, then we're in that kind of situation where it's still going to do the job, but it's not really doing what you're expecting it to do. But let's get some measurements on them and see what we got there. As far as weight, they both started at 95. I don't expect any kind of loss. The one from the LCP Max is actually 95.6, so nothing lost there. You actually got a little bit of cloth stuffed in that one. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see that. The one here from the EZ is 95.4, so again, nothing lost from either one of these bonded rounds. So then let's get the size on them. We'll start with this irregular one from the Max first. You got 613 going this direction, which is probably the biggest way, and then this way here you got 429. So either way, still, again, in my opinion, plenty of expansion there. But then the one from the EZ here, you got 614 and 622, so no question you got a whole lot more expansion from that extra barrel length and velocity. And there you have it, y'all, the Winchester Elite Defender in 380 ACP. Very surprised at this. I'll have to admit, I expected nothing but the worst out of these, especially after seeing the velocity, especially from this LCP Max. I did not expect any kind of expansion, so I'm very happily surprised right here. Now, are these the best performing rounds I've ever seen? Not even close, but these are definitely some that if I had them loaded up, I would not feel underprepared just because of my ammo choice. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for what I think was a pretty good 380 test to start the day with. This stuff really did surprise me again. I was expecting nothing but the worst out of it, just mainly based on the velocities alone, but it really surprised me. Like I said, it's definitely not the best performance that I've seen from a 380 by far, but it's far from the worst. I think the deciding factor on picking some of this stuff up or not would be the cost of it, because that Underwood stuff that I tested not long ago is very nice performance stuff, and I think you can get it for less than this. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it. How do you feel about the performance out of them out here today? Is this something that any of y'all out there actually carry? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you reach down and click that like button. All of that really does help. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you got your notifications turned on so you don't miss anything when I upload it. If you're doing some shopping, like I always remind you, check out those affiliate links in the video description. Anything you buy after hitting up those links down there, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really do appreciate that. A big thanks as always to my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel like y'all do. I've got a couple more really interesting tests planned for out here today, so make sure you stay on the lookout, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.